I committed a felony at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. I was standing in the office break room, clutching the stolen key to my rival's apartment, while he stood 3 feet away pouring coffee. Alex wasn't just a coworker. He was the enemy, the guy who stole the promotion I deserved. But now I had the one thing that could destroy his perfect, curated life. I had access, and looking at his throat move as he swallowed, I knew I wasn't going to give it back. For 3 years, Alex has been my corporate nightmare. He's a machine. Perfect suits, perfect hair, perfect metrics. I'm the chaos to his order. Creative, loud, messy. We hated each other. It wasn't a secret. The air in the conference room always got too thin when we argued. But that hatred had a weird heat to it. I'd catch him watching me when he thought I wasn't looking, his eyes dark and unreadable. I'd spend way too much time staring at the line of his shoulders. Then came the team meeting. The argument was about Q4 projections. He was winning, as usual. He stood up to gesture at the whiteboard, and his keys slipped out of his pocket. They hit the carpet with a muffled thud. He didn't hear it. Nobody did. They slid right to my shoe. I didn't think. I didn't plan. I just dropped my pen, leaned down, and palmed them. I pressed the jagged metal into my palm until the teeth left crescents in my skin, an invisible seal declaring me accomplice for the night. I sat back up, heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. I expected him to notice. I expected security to burst in. But Alex just kept talking about efficiency. I spent the rest of the afternoon sweating through my shirt. Every time he walked by my desk, I felt the weight of that key in my pocket. It was heavy. It felt like a weapon. I told myself I'd return it. I'd leave it on his desk with a note, but then 5 p.m. hit. He left for his gym session. I knew his schedule better than I knew my own. That was the obsession talking. I knew I had a 2-hour window. I wasn't going to return it. I was going to use it. I wanted to knock him off his pedestal, prove he was human, maybe find a stash of illegal drugs or a secret second family. Anything to stop feeling like the lesser man every time he looked at me. I skipped the train and took a cab. I needed to be there before my nerve broke. His building was uptown, one of those sterile glass towers that screams, "I have no personal life." The key turned in the lock with a terrifyingly smooth click. I pushed the door open. My pulse was a drum in my ears. Every creak of the floorboard sounded like a gunshot. I checked my watch. 5:45 p.m. He wasn't due back until 7 o'clock. I had time. But the fear was a cold sweat on the back of my neck. I expected a bachelor pad, leather couches, massive TV, empty fridge. I stepped inside and the silence hit me first. It was dead quiet. I closed the door behind me, engaging the lock. I was trespassing. If he came home early, I was done. My career, my life, over. But the apartment wasn't what I expected. It was sterile, too clean. No photos on the walls, no personal clutter. It looked like a hotel room. I walked into the kitchen. I wanted dirt. I wanted to find something embarrassing, a secret hobby, a mess, anything to prove he wasn't perfect. I found the pill bottles on the counter. They weren't hidden, a row of orange plastic soldiers. I picked one up. Antidepressants, high dosage, another for anxiety, another for chronic pain. The dates were recent. The refill dates were religious. I put them down, my hand shaking slightly. I thought I knew him. If you've ever misjudged someone this badly, hit the like button. because I was about to feel like the world's biggest dirtbag. This wasn't dirt. This was a crack in the armor I didn't know existed. I moved to the bedroom. The bed was made with military precision. I opened the closet. Suits, color coordinated. But on the top shelf, shoved in the back, was a shoebox. This was it. The secret. I pulled it down and sat on the edge of his bed. I knew I shouldn't open the box. Be honest in the comments. If you were in my shoes, holding your enemy's secrets, would you open it? Or would you walk away? Because I didn't walk away. I opened the box. Polaroids spilled out. They weren't scandalous. They were heartbreaking. Alex, looking 5 years younger, laughing, his arm around another guy who looked exactly like him but thinner, sicker. A twin. I flipped the photo. Final chemo was scrawled on the back. Under the photos were letters, stacks of them, addressed to M. That's my initial. My heart stopped. I unfolded one. The handwriting was jagged, rushed. Unlike his perfect whiteboard script, these were written in moments of weakness, late at night, maybe after whiskey. Dear M, I read, my voice trembling. Before, in my head, his voice took over. I was too harsh in the meeting today. I wanted to tell you that your idea was brilliant, but I couldn't say it. I never can. I unfolded another. M, you wore that blue shirt today. I couldn't concentrate for an hour. M, I feel like I'm drowning here, and you're the only one who seems alive. He wasn't writing to a secret lover. He was writing to me. The rivalry, the arguments, the heat. It was all a front. He was struggling, grieving a brother, and pinning some kind of desperate hope on me, on our fights, on the sparks we threw off. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. The narrative I had in my head, the arrogant, unfeeling robot, shattered. I wasn't looking at an enemy. I was looking at a lonely man who was just as obsessed with me as I was with him. I sat there, surrounded by his secrets, feeling like the worst human being on the planet. I had broken into his sanctuary to destroy him, and instead I found out he loved me. Then I heard it, the distinct beep of the electronic fob at the front door, the heavy clack of the deadbolt turning. I froze. The letters were spread out on the bed. The shoebox was open. There was nowhere to hide. I stood up, panic seizing my throat, just as the bedroom door swung open. Alex stood there, grocery bag in one hand. His eyes went from the open box to the letters on the bed, and finally to me. The grocery bag hit the floor. A jar of sauce shattered, red splattering the pristine white tiles. Get out, Alex snarled, his hand shaking as he raised his phone. Right now, before I call the police. I froze. I didn't come for dirt, Alex. You broke into my house. Because you wrote this. I slammed the crumpled letter against my own chest. You wrote this to me. The silence stretched for 3 agonizing seconds. Slowly the phone lowered. You weren't supposed to see that. His voice broke. Why didn't you say it to my face? Because look at us, he whispered, the anger draining into exhaustion. We're a disaster. Yeah, I stepped forward. He didn't retreat. We are. The tension shifted from fear to magnetism. He grabbed my shirt and pulled me into a kiss that tasted like desperation. We didn't leave the bedroom for hours. The rivalry died the second his skin touched mine, replaced by something far more dangerous. Walking to the train later, the city felt different. The key was cold in my pocket. I went there to ruin his life. Instead, I ruined my own. because now I have everything to